Hello, friends. We are back with another episode of Turn the Page podcast. I am your host, Paige, and I am here to ask you one of the most important questions that you're going to be asked in the next 3 weeks. How's it going? How's it going? We are mid-Mercury retrograde, and to be honest, up until yesterday, I was feeling pretty great. I was feeling pretty invincible. I was like, man, I am just smooth sailing through this, and I am feeling so good about where I am and what is happening. And I'm like trying to keep the overwhelm at bay and doing what I can do to process and just not stay stagnant in all of the energy and the emotions that are coming up, especially at a heightened time like the one that we are currently in. And then I woke up this morning and I have kind of been an emotional mess. I've been like on the verge of tears many, many times already this morning, and I'm kind of unsure why, except for the fact that I am very aware of all of the energy that is playing around with me in the universe right at this moment. And so I'm just trying to embrace it. I'm trying to process it. I'm trying to really lean into the reflections versus the reactions. Okay. Okay. And that is something that all of us should be doing at this time right now, especially when it comes to our thoughts and the ways in which we communicate and how we express ourselves. Because again, like I explained last week with Mercury retrograde, that is going to heavily affect the way that we communicate. And this Mercury retrograde is starting in Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is all about the belief systems. It's a fire sign. So anything that, is playing around with fire is going to be a little bit more intense. It's going to pack a punch. And the things in which we believe in, the things that we are passionate about, the things that we want to fight for, okay? And in its shadow, it's going to have this energy around it that is a little bit more like, I know it all. I have all of the answers. This is what I believe in, and this is what you should believe in too. And if you don't, then I am going to have strong opinions about that. And so, what we need to be doing about all of these things, all of these, like, you're not going to lock me in a box moment, is reflect on them, not react to them, so that then after we reflect, we can choose to respond. It doesn't mean that we have to change our beliefs. It doesn't mean that we are in the quote unquote wrong. It just means that we can be more purposeful about the message in which we are delivering and allowing ourselves to lean into the mutable energy of Sagittarius and allow it to kind of, grow and evolve and grow and diminish, or whatever it is, whatever evolution like this situation is coming up for you in your life in this time. Because then this Mercury retrograde is going to be retrograding back into Scorpio, and it might already be in Scorpio. I don't know. I didn't check the direct transits before I jumped on here. So sue me. Just kidding. Don't do that. I promise you won't get very far. But as this Mercury retrogrades back into Scorpio, which is our sign of transformation, of depth, of kind of volatile energy. I mean, Scorpio energy can be very, very intense. But what it does so well is finds clarity because it sees through all the shit. And it allows us to get down. Why it's so volatile is because it allows us to get down to the nitty gritty truth of what it is that we're really, really feeling and experiencing. And so we have to allow ourselves to kind of be patient and like wait for that energy, wait for that clarity, wait for that truth to emerge before then we're able to find forward momentum and what we're trying to change or transform or evolve at the moment. And so, as all of this is kind of stewing, we also had a new moon yesterday in Scorpio. And so, we've got the moon and the sun's energy in that sign. And so much unexpected can come to the surface with this energy that we've been feeling lately. So much can be coming to the surface. And it's so important and powerful for us to be able to allow ourselves to feel it, allow ourselves to express it. But again, not in a way that's going to be manipulative or passive aggressive or, not cutting through the shit and getting down to the truth of what is happening, but really being direct. Really being direct. That doesn't mean being unkind. That doesn't mean not being compassionate, but it means being direct so that we can find a place to be able to exist in this energy and whatever it is it's bringing up in our lives in its empowered version, not in its shadow. And so, for me, I have found myself again, feeling really good, feeling really grateful, really leaning into my intuition and the things that are coming in and the excitement that has been happening. And then today it was like this rush of emotion coming to the surface. And because I'm aware of all of this energy, because I'm aware and I'm leaning into my intuition, I have been able to navigate it a little more gracefully than I have in the past. But I'm human and we all are. So there's going to be times where it's going to, get a little rocky and we're going to have a little hitch in our giddy up along the way, along the path. But I've allowed myself to feel it. Okay, obviously that I'm being affected by something. I'm being affected. And so it's like I was feeling all of these emotions and I was on the verge of tears and I was just letting myself, kind of observe it. Because in the past, what I would do is try to fix it, try to figure it out, run to my toolbox and be like, okay, I need to do this and I need to do this and I need to do this and I need to do this. And right now at this current phase in my life, and right now, what I feel like could be so beneficial for so many people is not necessarily running to the fix it portion, but just being in the observation for a second longer. And the observation has been really impactful for me at this season in my life because I've been able to observe what it is that's happening without jumping into fix it mode. And I'm a Virgo moon and rising, and fix it mode is a very natural state for that energy. And it's empowered. It can do so many good things. It can really get the job done and be very supportive and help to be of service to others. In its shadow, it can start to take responsibility for things that it's not actually responsible for. And so for me, in some of these instances, some of these emotions that were coming up weren't actually mine to process. But I wouldn't have realized that if I didn't stop and observe. I would have jumped into, how do I need to fix myself? How do I need to process this? How do I need to let myself move through? No, I just needed to give myself a little bit of room to breathe. I just needed to observe the energy so that I could understand this isn't mine to fix. This isn't my situation. These aren't mine emotion. These aren't mine emotion. These aren't my emotions to navigate. Okay, hello. Talk about Mercury retrograde coming in full force. Words are not wording. But it was interesting. I was driving to the grocery store because I do that, I feel like, every day. I don't, but it feels like it. Feels like I am at the grocery store way too often. But I digress. I was on my way to the grocery store and I'm on the verge of tears, whether it's situations I'm thinking about, a song coming on the radio, looking at my dog and just loving her so significantly. But, as all of those situations are happening and as all of these emotions are coming up, I'm just observing them and okay, filtering through, reflecting. This one's not mine. This one is mine. How do I want to deal with it? How do I want to process it? and just allowing that continuation to kind of ebb and flow and not shaming myself because that's another thing that I would do because combined with that fix it energy, Virgo energy definitely can harness perfectionism in ways that doesn't serve us. Okay. Perfectionism, again, and it's empowered, can get the job done and get the job done very well. But in its shadow, can like beat a dead horse. And so allowing myself to realize that this process doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to look aesthetically pleasing. It doesn't have to be step one, step two, steps three, step four. It doesn't have to be a checklist. And so I'm observing, I'm letting it all process. I'm kind of like filtering through what it is that's mine, what's not mine, allowing the experience to not be perfect and stop, pick up my groceries, kind of have a little break from that. And then on the way home, it's like the emotions that were mine were really prominent and present: frustration, irritation, anger, insecurity, and fear. And so, what did I do with the emotions that were mine to process? Well, I'll tell you, I had a very intense talk with God on the drive home. I turned the music off and I was aggressively expressing all of the things that I was feeling, all of the frustrations that were coming up, all of the irritations, the disappointments, the insecurities, and the fears. And as I was doing this, I felt like a twinge in my liver because that is where your anger lives. And that was a very big, prominent one for me today because it was like I was getting it out. I wasn't letting the stagnation win because, again, Mercury retrograde, we are in a time of reflection. We are in a time of review. And so, because all of that energy is kind of internalized, when a planet is in retrograde in your birth chart or in a transit, it's very much an internal energy. So, a lot of this energy that we have been feeling with these retrogrades is internalized. We don't want to keep that energy internalized for too long because it will become stagnant. And what happens with stagnant energy? No forward momentum. And then it sits and then it settles and then it can fester. And that doesn't mean, again, because we are in this time, it doesn't mean that we want to go and project onto the situations or the people around us. What it means is that we want to give ourselves the space to reflect so then that we can respond to the things that we need to respond to, or just process and get them out in a way that serves us. So today, it served me to have an intense conversation out loud in my car by myself. Okay. I didn't have to bring anybody else into the mess except for, God, the universe, the energies around me, my team. That's like, my guardian angels that are supporting me. They're always listening. Okay. And as I was doing this, I just felt this like really big release. I felt this really big release because it was like, okay, I don't have to handle all of this on my own and I don't have to sit in it. And I think that sometimes we can get caught up in that. We can get caught up in sitting in all of our big feelings, sitting in all the things that we think about certain circumstances and situations. And it's just so significant right now. It's so significant right now. This energy is so profound, but it's because it's trying to teach us something. It's because it's trying to guide us to a truth that we need to actualize, that we need to understand so that then we can integrate into this next chapter of our lives. We're coming to the end of a year, and this has not been a year of forward momentum. This has been a year of more kind of standing still and releasing and letting go. But as we are getting ready to embark on a new year and new energy, it's like we're all kind of in this pressure cooker. This Mercury retrograde is kind of putting us all in this pressure cooker and is really testing us. It's testing us to see how we're going to respond so that then we can embrace and be ready for the next chapter. At least that's how I view it. These are all my perceptions of astrology and these transits. And so if they don't fit for you, this is what I tell every person I do a reading for. Take what feels good. Take what resonates and leave the rest, because you don't have to, you're not always going to align with every single thing that every astrologer says about every transit or every situation that is happening, whether it's in your chart or collectively. And so you have to really be able to use your own intuition to be able to understand this guidance. And so, yeah, take what you resonate with and leave the rest behind. And if you ever have any further questions, I'm always here to answer them. If you're ever interested in doing a one-on-one reading because you're in a state of uncertainty and you're not really sure what to do with all of this energy, I'm able to guide myself through this energy because I know what works the best for me and the way that I operate. My Virgo moon, it's how I process my emotions. And I'm a Virgo rising, so it's also the ways in which I view the world, the lens I view the world through. And so I'm able to like guide myself with this knowing in a more empowered way to be able to process these emotions and the ways in which I see it playing out around me, as well as, my shadow tendencies and how I communicate. I'm an Aries Mercury. And so it's like I can be extremely impulsive. So I have to like rein myself back in. I have to like bring myself back to like a grounded state so that then I can respond. Do I do that all the time? No. I apologized to my 5-year-old this morning for snapping at her because I was a little on edge after I had to repeat myself for the 17th time. But we're going to all experience these things. And astrology is just a beautiful tool to be able to help understand yourself more significantly through that. And it helps to kind of cut out the noise too, because what works for one person is not going to work for you. I love to understand my moon sign so that I can understand how to help myself regulate my nervous system and be able to tailor that to what fits me. What your moon sign is, and understanding that and it's empowered will help you to learn and understand how to regulate your nervous system. And these are things that I'm just like super passionate about talking about and teaching about. And so, yeah, if you want to learn more about your own personal chart, highly recommend it. Okay. Reach out to me. But I don't know. Currently, right now, the energy feels intense. And so we just have to kind of let it be what it is. But I just highly recommend that everybody spends that time reflecting. So that's my little spiel on that, my little astrological check in, if you will, for where we are. And then the other thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about this week is next week, I am going to be starting my third or fourth. So I think it's my third social media detox for the holidays. Okay. So obviously, I utilize social media. I have a very love-hate relationship with it. And I feel like it's been getting better and better and better as the years progress. But I have done a social media detox for the last 3 years. The first year, I did it from Christmas to New Year's. So it was like, I don't know, a week and a half period. Last year, I did it from Thanksgiving to New Year's, and that was almost 6 weeks. And it was one of the most impactful 6 weeks that I have had, because it was when I got the idea for this podcast. It was where all of the um the name of the podcast dropped in, the concept, the book club Fridays, all of the stuff, all of the ideas for this podcast dropped in through those 6 weeks. And why did that happen? Why did that happen in that time? Well, for me, I believe that it was because I cut out all of the noise. I stopped consuming, because even though I try to set significant boundaries for social media, it's still really hard. It's still really hard as a creator, as an empath, as someone who is consuming, because it doesn't matter what you tell yourself, you're consuming. If you have those apps, it is so hard to not consume, and that's okay. We all do it. We all do it. But with that consumption can also become a comparison. And so I feel like I'm always on this teeter-totter of like feeling really aligned, really in the zone, speaking from my intuition, channeling messages that I feel as though the world, like God is using me to like share with the world. And then it starts sliding into like, okay, I'm just creating for the sake of other people's consumption. I'm creating for the sake of the algorithm. I'm sliding into just kind of these really surface level messages because I want to be seen. Sure, I want to be seen, but more importantly, I want to be of service. And I function much better with a little bit of like an all or nothing break. And I'm a Pisces Mars, and that Pisces energy, that all or nothing there can be in its shadow, it can be in its empowered. And so this is the ways in which I try to utilize that in its empowered version. I separate myself completely from those apps, from that portal, from that escapism, from that distraction, to be able to start to allow clarity to drop in more significantly in a more potent way. And so doing this, it's really exciting. And honestly, like it feels like a relief. It feels like a deep breath because I get like a 6-week break of not consuming, not letting that noise really get in my head. I love to do it around the holidays because then it lessens my like consumerism, and I'm not just like buying shit because I see people posting it or like seeing and comparing what other people are getting their kids for the holidays. All of this stuff. But it really helps to quiet the noise in my head that I need to be doing things the ways in which other people need to be doing them, or I need to be doing them more in a more aesthetically pleasing way, or I need to do them in a more consistent way. Whatever it is that comes in, that comes up, because the internal noise in my brain, all of my fellow Virgos out there get it, is fucking loud. It's fucking loud. And there's sometimes that it gets so loud that I get sick of myself. Like I get sick of myself, like sick of my own shit. And this is a gift that I give to myself. Now, my social media lately has been gaining some momentum. I had to do a lot of work to like separate myself from the numbers. And I've done that work in the past. And so I feel like it's like really helping me. It's like just fun and enjoyment. You know, I get to like enjoy seeing those numbers go up, but I don't have to get so caught up in it and attach it to my worth. But when I realized like, oh shit, like next week is Thanksgiving, like I'm going to be going offline, this feeling of scarcity kind of came in. This fear of like, oh shit, like what's going to happen to this momentum? Like if I just like dip out, if I disappear, if I go away, am I still going to be relevant when I come back? Are people going to care? Am I going to have to start this journey all over again? And so I let those questions come up and I've allowed myself to answer them. Maybe I will have to start over, but that's not the end of the world. Maybe the momentum will continue and grow without me even having to be accessible to it. And I really don't know. But at the end of the day, I can't allow that fear to dictate a choice that I'm making for myself that is going to, oh, again, just allow me to take a deep breath, because I think social media is a tool that we can utilize to be able to connect with people and share our experiences and, you know, share these projects that we have, whether it's astrology, whether it's a salon that we're building, whether it's a business, whether it's your family. It doesn't matter. Whatever it is that you use social media for, like it can be a tool to be able to spread that message and get that out there. But it can also be a really big distraction. And so this is a time of the year that I like to eliminate the distractions. And honestly, I kind of like to go into my little hermit hole and start organizing my life. Like I start on my vision board for the next year and I spend a lot of quality time with my kids and I go through all of my emails and organize my Pinterest board. Like little shit that just like brings me joy. And, it gives me the time and the space to just be. I get to create and write and do just for the sake of doing it, just for the sake of being and being me and being creative. And I don't know, like enjoying that part of my story. So if you ever are curious about going offline, if it's something that you feel called to do to kind of reduce the noise and the distraction in your life, do it. This is the perfect time. The holidays can be hard enough and they can be sticky and lots of emotions can come up. Seeing everybody's highlight reel can also just like feed into that, can feed into that. So I don't know. I love to do this. I love to do the social media detox because it eliminates the noise and it gets me out of my own head and it helps me to get more into my body and into my life and be more present. That being said, I'm still going to be recording the podcast. I'm going to take a break next week because it's the holidays. But I'll still be recording the podcast the first 3 weeks of December. And then again, taking a break the week of Christmas and the week of New Year's, and then coming back in the new year, back on social media, and then obviously with more episodes. But I just wanted to kind of let everybody know where I was at with all of it. And if you want to join me, shoot me a message, shoot me a DM over on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Last year, I started a little private group that we could kind of check in with each other as we were doing it. And I'll probably do that again. So just keep a lookout. I just haven't got to it. But I don't know. I think it's really great for us to disconnect. I think it's really great for us to be able to take the time to just reflect on the year, celebrate the wins, grieve the losses, and just cleanse our energy before we step into a new year. Before we step into my world, what I've been working on, a new timeline. And so, yeah, I just highly recommend it. And so I just wanted everybody to know that I will be dipping off the socials for a bit. And I think it's great. I'm excited. Also, still a little nervous. I got to like honor that. But I know it does so much good for me to help me to prepare, and allow whatever clarity to drop in that's needed going into the new year. So, alrighty, my friends, that is all I have for you today. Feel like it was kind of all over the place, but hey, that's where we are. And that's the energy that we're swimming in. So we're just going to ride the waves. I love you guys. Come say hi over on Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook at Turn the Page Podcast, as well as make sure you go and check out my new page, Ember and Earth Holistic. It is going to be where I'm going to be talking a lot more about my holistic health journey as well as astrology, but specifically in relation to the salon. Okay. The hair salon. And so I'm going to be putting some really great new content out over on that page starting in the new year. And I can't wait to connect with you all through that because, duality, man. Got lots of passions and lots of projects and lots of things going on and lots of things to say. Okay? All right. We'll talk to you guys later. We'll see you in a couple weeks. Have a happy gratitude day. Okay. I express gratitude every single day. So Thanksgiving's it's not really my top favorite holiday, but we're going to eat some food. We're going to spend some time with family. So I hope, however it is that you spend this holiday, it brings you joy. All right. Mwah.